Why is nature so important for Unilever?
Our success really depends on nature being healthy and resilient, and that includes our agricultural supply chains through to the water that we use for manufacturing and the water that our consumers use to use our products. And in fact, from research, approximately half of the global GDP is depending on nature. But there is a risk to business through the loss of nature. Intensive agriculture can lead to biodiversity loss and even ecosystem collapse, which has a knock-on effect on our major commodities. Nature is in crisis, and we really need to act now to address that, and we're addressing the areas of the highest risk.
How is Unilever maintaining a deforestation-free supply chain?
Alarming levels of deforestation have resulted in biodiversity losses and contributes to climate change, impacting people, nature, and the economy. As a company that relies on forest commodities, we have a duty of care to ensure that the materials we source comes from areas that are not involved in deforestation. 97% of our order volumes of palm oil, paper and board, tea, soy, and cocoa were deforestation-free in 2024. We worked very hard with our suppliers and partners to achieve this and are focused on ensuring that we can maintain this. We're fundamentally reshaping the way we source our commodities, reformulating our products, and investing in the infrastructure, technology, and networks required to maintain a deforestation-free supply chain. For instance, we've been simplifying the way we source our palm oil to increase transparency and traceability, working with suppliers and farmers while investing in the technology and infrastructure behind it. To monitor our deforestation-free supply chains through the use of satellite monitoring, geospatial technology, blockchain, and AI.
How is Unilever funding the protection and restoration of nature?
To help protect and restore nature, we are funding work both within and beyond our supply chain, focusing on areas that we are primarily sourcing from. By the end of 2024, we helped protect and restore 430,000 hectares of natural ecosystems, primarily in Southeast Asia. In Malaysia, we've partnered with WWF on the Sabah Landscapes program to integrate the protection of forests, rivers, and wildlife into the sustainable production of palm oil. And we are founding members of the Rimba Collective, a long-term strategic initiative with the aim of protecting 500,000 hectares of forests and improving livelihoods. Over the next few years, we will be focusing our efforts on meeting our goal. We can do this by working collaboratively with different partners on the ground to create that impact.
How is Unilever sourcing crops sustainably?
So sustainable sourcing really is how we bring sustainability into our ingredients and into our business, and how we protect the environment in which we operate. We source 12 key crops, which covers everything from ingredients in our food to the paper and board packaging of our products. We've come a long way, and in 2024 we sourced 79% of our key crops sustainably. That's a huge volume and something that we've done really consistently over a 15-year period. This means our raw materials are produced in accordance with third-party standards, and it means that we can be assured of the sustainability and integrity of what we buy. Our work to source sustainably is really driving a market demand for sustainability, and it's really changed the industry. We're looking at how do we aim for healthier soils, practices that drive carbon reduction and removal from agriculture, livelihoods for farmers. So it's really about us acknowledging the challenges we now face in agriculture with climate change, with ecosystem degradation, and making sure that's reflected in the standards that we buy, and really then driving continuous improvement for ourselves and in the industry.
How is Unilever implementing regenerative agriculture?
Unilever has moved from conventional to sustainable agriculture with our suppliers to implement regenerative agriculture practices, such as less tilling, cover cropping to protect the soil between harvests, and other practices to help us decrease the use of synthetic fertilizers and herbicides. By the end of 2024, Unilever have implemented regenerative agriculture practices on 130,000 hectares across Europe, North America, parts of Asia, and Latin America. And these include, for example, soy in Brazil and in the US, and also rapeseed in the UK for Hellmann's, and also across Europe for vegetables for Knorr. What we're really aiming to do is to create a more resilient supply of our ingredients.
What is Unilever doing to safeguard water supply?
Water is one of Unilever's most important natural resources across the value chain, but it's also a key ingredient in many of our products. What we see is that because of climate change, droughts are becoming more frequent and more intense. Unilever has a responsibility to safeguard water, not only for Unilever, but also for nature and the communities surrounding us in the same river basin where we are situated in. Our water stewardship programs are designed to take action both inside our factory, but also outside our factory walls. We work with different partners across the globe. There can be local partners, called WWF or the Nature Conservancy, which really have the local knowledge to implement the best projects. So by the end of 2024, we implemented 21 programs across 21 sites in the world. In India, we already supported almost 3 million people through better irrigation, working with communities and more water efficient farming. We export these learnings to other sites across the globe.
How can Unilever go further, faster, to protect and regenerate nature?
To safeguard our supply chain and our future business, we really need to prioritise action and pick up the pace of implementation.
It's not the commitment of one company that changes things, but the commitment of many, which is really key. The future really lies in shared responsibility, and that's sharing responsibility between Unilever and our suppliers, and with our peers and with the users of agricultural products.
So we need farmers to really want to transition to better, more regenerative practices, and we need consumers to care about the way that their foods are grown and to choose products that contain foods and ingredients that have been grown better. We need to really drive that change through blended finance models and also driving incentives and policies that align with this change.
So we have a huge opportunity to build resilience for our own business and influencing governments and also working together with other companies to really drive change. This is a real strategic priority and it's essential for our future growth and resilience.